We were creating something new, but our surroundings was like a war zone. Right? You know, the Bronx was on fire. It's just rubble buildings. Right? Sometimes I would walk through the Bronx and I would say to myself, oh my God, where am I? I'm in a war zone? Wow. This can't be America. There was no looking at the race. No. Right? No, I mean, is that crazy? Right? 100%. Right? How good will you break dance? See this cab? This is not no regular cab. This is a pimped out hip hop cab. Push your brother and sister forward. Because if they have success, they're gonna come back and help you. Push people forward. Shout out to Fat Joe. Shout outs to Eve Rivera. You know, people that came under me. Like successful. DJ Khaled, right? Party that I was not going to. The same way you had the hip hop bug, I had the hip hop bug, right? You know, I was everywhere. And then when of hip hop, right? It was the Europeans that embraced the culture so much. And Mo2 was ahead of his time. Shout outs to you, all the Chrome Angels. Yeah. Shout out to you guys. You were innovators. You know, I want all the youth to feel proud of who they are, for who they are. You know, you stand in the you should stand in the mirror in the morning and be proud of yourself. And they gave me 6 months to live, and I already had used 4 months, but I still had that hope, right? But I was prepared for death. Right, we ready to rock and roll. Let's go. Let's do this. So lights, camera, action. On this week's show, we have someone who's respected throughout the graph world, who featured in the 1985 documentary Beat This, Hip Hop History, and also was in the Bombing documentary from 1987, who left his mark all around town with his hand style of fire. We've got the one and the only BRIM from the TATs Cru in the back. Yes! Yes, BRIM! The taxi cab, the black cab in London. Holy shit. Let's do this. That's some real shit right now going on. This is some real UK London shit. A famous, iconic, world-class taxi. And we've got one of the world-class graffiti artists in the back. What's up, my brother? Listen, man, it's an honour. All right, well, likewise. And it's not every day you get, you know, to pick up a graph legend in the cab, so I'm really buzzing about it. Crazy, right? This is crazy. I don't think it's ever been done, this kind of shit, right? You know? Yeah, no, this is a first. It's like a taxi cab confessions. This is a first. Usually what's said in the cab stays in the cab, but whatever we're going to say ain't going to be staying in the cab. But BRIM, this first 2 questions I always kick it off with is like, you know, whereabouts are you from and what was it like growing up? Well, you know, we from the South Bronx, the boogie down Bronx, and what is it like growing up in the Bronx? Thank God I'm alive, and thank God I survived it. What part of Bronx? Were you from Bronx River? Bronx River, Soundview, yep. Wicked. And what was it, when was you growing up, like in the 70s? Well, I mean, I grew up in the 70s, right? 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2020, and God willing, we keep going. Yeah. And what was it like? I mean, obviously, gang culture was big back then, wasn't it? I mean, you had the Imperial Batchers, the Black Spades, and the Savage Nomads. Well, you know, we dodged a lot of bullets, right? We went through the heroin era of the 60s and 70s, and you know, the crack era of the 80s, right? So, you know, there was a lot of pitfalls that it could have been, right? But thank God we found hip-hop, and hip-hop saved our lives. And yeah, so what was it like to grow up in the 70s and 80s in the South Bronx, in the boogie down Bronx? Oh, it must have been amazing. Well, it was amazing in the sense that we were creating something new, but our surroundings was like a war zone. Right? You know, the Bronx was on fire. It's just rubble buildings, right? The buildings were worth more abandoned and you know, on fire than it would be standing. So, you know, sometimes I would walk through the Bronx and I would say to myself, oh my God, where am I? I'm in a war zone? Wow. This can't be America. Right? You know? It must have been really tough as well for families to like you know, bring their kids up in that kind of environment. Well, you know, listen, either you got stuck in the heroin, selling the heroin, using the heroin, most likely both, and incarcerated and institutionalized, where you're going in and out of this revolving door. So that from those ashes, hip hop was created.
The birth of hip hop was
that was the birth of hip hop, right?
Where it come out the flames and the ghetto.
It came out the flames, out the gutter.
Yeah.
It made us feel like we were somebody.
It was like a phoenix coming out the flames. I mean, it must have been incredible. And Brim, to see that early hip hop vibe, come alive, and watching everyone, the early days of like b-boying and popping and rap, MC and rapping and all that.
And graffiti
and graffiti, yeah.
And just
it must
we
have been
knew
electric.
we were blessed. We knew we had talent, right?
Yeah.
Whether you was a b-boy dancer, you already felt this feeling of self-empowerment. If you was a DJ, you knew that you were special from everybody else. If you were a graffiti writer, you were on par with like every other artist in the world. You were doing something that hasn't been done before and was respected. No matter we were going back to tenements with no elevators, no electricity, no running water, broke as fuck, but we was making sure that we was clean. It was a feeling of pride, and we were we actually created something nobody ever created before, right? And then now fast forward, we respected to the world, mass media, top music genre of the world, influencing movies, influencing just every aspect of society, right? 100%. That came out the gutter of the South Bronx.
But back then it must have been, hip hop. It must have felt like a family. It's like you was as one. I mean, especially when the Zulu Nation come in. I mean, Zulu Nation basically brought the elements together, and it was a real kind of positive force.
We had the streets on lock, right? You already know that, right? So we had the streets on lock, and we had the culture on lock, right? If it wasn't for Zulu Nation, there wouldn't be nothing. I mean, you got people like Russell Simmons that commercialized it, right? And other people. But if it wasn't for that gutter, South Bronx River creativity, unity and direction, it wouldn't have really happened, right?
Because that filtered over to the UK. I mean, peace, unity, love and having fun. I mean, when we heard Planet Rock in 1982, we was like, wow. And when we see like BAM in like 84, put your funk sign in the air. It was incredible. And that's the first, Brim, that's the first time I met you was in 1985. There was a do-on at the Shore Theatre called Rap Attack. You come over with Bronx River Posse, which was Bam Barter, DJ Red Alert, Lisa Lee, Jazzy Joyce, yourself, Brim, and Prince Ike C.
Right.
And you was teaching us kids, like, to polish up on our graffiti skills, which we looked up to you, like, like an iconic figure, and you are.
And thank you. I'm humbled that you say something like that. But as much influence as I gave you guys, I also was influenced, right? Because that trip also opened my eyes that there was a bigger world, right? And to make sure not to waste my life, because there was just a whole expansion of this universe that I needed to see. So, a lot of the times when I'm walking around in the UK, a lot of people saying, hey, man, yo, Bram, when I was young, you influenced me and thank you so much. And I just say, thank you, thank you the same, because it was a mutual thing, right? 100%. And it also showed me that no matter where in the world we were, all the youth had a similar fabric, a thread that ran through us, right? And we were dealing with the same issues, right? Whether it was acne or just, you get what I'm saying, right? Right, poverty, right? Racial tensions and shit like that. But listen, one thing you got to say about hip hop, there was no looking at the race.
No.
Right?
No,
I mean, is that crazy? No. Right?
100%.
Right? How good were you breakdancing? How good were you graffiti?
You didn't bring.
I want you down with me, right?
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it, right? So that's proliferated through the whole world. So I think that was really important, right?
You're totally right, because it did. It unified, you know, I mean, especially in London, because London was very split. You had like, you know, white people in one area, Asians in another. You know, when hip hop come around, everyone was united under one roof, like doing their thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yo, this dude is dope. I don't care where he come from. That shit don't even come into the equation. You gotta be down with us.
100%. Yeah.
So that was an important thing. I mean, there was a lot of things, a lot of aspects, right? You want to talk about coming to the UK. I think it was a great experience on both sides, right? I mean, really for me, my takeaway was, you know, how the youth for the world, we were similar, right? For you guys, it was something new, something cultural, right? Coming in, right?
When you come over, we was like, as I said, you was like gods to us. You know, we looked up to you like, you know, like especially like the others, like father figure type, you know, like characters.
That was a lot of, you know, one thing I gotta say is that I was proud the way my brain worked, right? At a early age, 18, 19 years old, right? I dealt with it good. I made sure I funneled the energy in the correct way, right? And that's a testament to my mentality, and I'm proud. I'm extremely proud that the things that I said when I was 18, 19, you can stand on right now. Today, I can look at people in the eye and say, whoa, you know, I did the right thing. So my brain was thinking, you know.
And listen, I've got to say as well, Brim, you know, you're such a humble guy. I mean, you know, to me, you're this kind of iconic graphic artist, an icon. And for you to step forward, just a random guy with a camera in the back of the cab to sit here and have a chat.
Well, you're not a random guy because, you know, you love hip hop.
Of course,
right?
Of course.
You know, you're putting your energy, you're trying to create something. So I got to push you forward, right? You coming with good vibes, so I'm coming with good vibes back to you.
Wicked. 100%. And you know, as I say, I'm just a cabbie doing my thing. You know, I'm not like the BBC or anyone like that. And I really am honoured by you sitting in the back of my cab. I mean, I'm blown away.
Well, I'm honoured to be sitting in a cab that's like Bentley and pimped out. The people, yo, you can't see this cab. This is not no regular cab. This is a pimped out hip hop cab.
This is the ultra cab.
You know, this is the ultra deluxe cab. It's not no regular cab. It's
not. It is an iconic top of the range cab.
Nah, I know. Listen, my man. I know people from Europe. You guys, you know, you love what you do, right? This is something that comes from your heart, from your passion, right? And you know, I give you what you put in. You know, I throw it back right at you, right? You know, so, you know, I know you got positive energy and you want to make something happen. And, you know, of course, I'm going to put you forward, my brother. You're my brother.
No, it's wicked, Brim, wicked. And going back to the early years, who was kind of inspiring you as an artist? I mean, when you was growing up?
Well, I mean, I got all kinds of inspiration, right? I don't want to say that this person inspired me and that person inspired me. Anybody that was doing something positive, right? I think in the ghetto in America, the problem really is we use a terminology like crabs in a crab barrel, where, you know, everybody, you know, people are so miserable they want to pull other people down.
Yeah.
And that's never been my thing.
You want to push people forward.
Listen, with my people, push your brother and sister forward, because if they have success, they're going to come back and help you. Push people forward. This crabs in a crab barrel, I don't know in England if they use that terminology, right? But that basically means, you know, when somebody's making it up, people feel satisfied to try to bring you down. Push your people forward, right? You know, I got friendless and, you know, shout outs to Fat Joe, shout outs to Ifri Vera, you know, people that came under me. Successful DJ Khaled, right? When you got friends that are multi-millionaires, you live good, right? So don't ever be jealous You know, some people got what it takes and they want to go as high as they want to go. Some people want to go to this level. Some people want to go to this level, you know. So,
and I think as well, Brim, when you get to that kind of level where you've peaked at the top, then it's time to push the people, I wouldn't say below you, but try and push people forwards in a positive way, in a positive light.
Always create positive energy.
Yeah.
If you create positive energy, it's going to come back to you. Don't create negative energy. Create positive energy. That's it, right? You know what I mean? Feel happy. You know, I'm not going to say that, you know, I knew this right from the jump, right? It takes, you know, experience and knowledge and walking the streets, that kind of a thing, right? And then you understand it, right? But really, you know, this crab in the crab barrel mentality where, this is really like New York or America, right? But in Europe, it's more like a unity thing, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a more commercialized, you know, thing. Because it's sad to see a lot of the pioneers, they ain't become rich.
Yeah, there's a lot of unsung heroes out there.
Right? I mean, you know, people should be rich, but unfortunately that the world doesn't care about that, right?
It's only like the 0.1%.
So you got to be sharp. You got to make it happen, right? You know? And if you don't make it happen, don't blame nobody, right? You could only really blame yourself.
And going back to the, you know, you totally bang on point as well, Brim. Going back to Tats Cru as well. I mean, you formed Tats Cru. What does Tats Cru stand for?
Well, first I made tats, right? And, you know, it was tough-ass teenagers and, you know, variations of that kind of a thing, right? And then we was doing what we was doing, boom, boom, boom. And then I know I wanted to bring Fat Joe, right? Talk about gangster Fat Joe. So TS, and then I just put TATS. And then we joined that, right? Because I wanted to give Joe the knowledge that I acquired, right? And the experience that I acquired over the years, right? This is a young kid coming from so much negativity, wanting to do something positive, you know? So it was just the way the planets in the universe aligned that I joined with him to make something happen, right? Because I have a lot of experience. You're talking about a dude that, you know, toured with Ice-T, you know, the Public Enemy days, you know, the beginning of hip-hop, the management side of things. I've seen a lot of things, right? You know what I mean? Able to create clothing lines and do business and so on and so forth. So I wanted to, you know, give him that love and show that, right?
Early years of Bronx as well. I mean, was you going to like the block parties and the like the house parties?
There wasn't a party that I was not going to. The same way you had the hip hop bug, I had the hip hop bug, right? You know, I was everywhere. And then when it started to move downtown, I was crazy. I was not even young enough to be in these places. I was, you know, I'm there, boom, I'm moving there, boom, I'm going there, boom. And yeah, you know, I just started to read the world started to just open, and the mixture of culture and the knowledge and the self-esteem that I was getting from just other people, right? And let me just give you an idea, right? So here you are, a poor kid, and barely can pay anything, have no money, and you paint the train. It looks dope, right? And that feeling of that train going by with your name makes you feel like you're somebody. And that was the basic element of graffiti in the beginning, right? Right? Yeah. You know?
So it gave you that kind of...
You're broke as fuck.
Yeah.
And you see your name on the train, then you feel like, you know, you like everybody else, right? You feel better than everybody else, actually.
Like a king.
You feel like king, queen. You feel like you feel validated, right? And you're creating something that nobody created, right? So yeah, that was it, right? Same for the rappers, same for the break dancers, right? You know.
And was you? I know you was wicked at the graph, Brim, but was you busting out the Bboy as well? Was you doing breaking and all that?
Nah, you know, everybody always danced a little bit. Everybody always rapped a little bit.
Dabble.
A little dabble. This is the difference. In America, when we started the culture, everybody did one thing, right? You don't have that many people that did several things, right?
So you stuck with that one thing, and that one thing you stuck at, you made sure you was going to be...
And then when you guys were able to see the culture, you saw it as a package, right?
Yeah.
So you guys are going,
we was trying everything.
Yeah, everything. Everything. You was a rapper, a DJ, a breakdancer, right?
Pop-in, robot, beatbox.
You know? Because you're seeing it packaged like that and giving it to you, right? You know what I mean? If we were graffiti writers, we were primarily graffiti writers, right? There's a few guys like Mr. Wiggles that maybe dabbled in it, right? But when you come over to Europe, you know, I meet this guy. He's the DJ, the breakdancer, and the graffiti artist, right? So it was like a different view, you know?
Yeah, because we kind of took on like all the elements as much as we could because we loved it so much. We wanted to like do everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is why I say it was a mutual thing, right? There was no graffiti paint, you know, specifically for graffiti. It was the Europeans that created that, right? The Australians that created that, right? There was no real festivals of hip hop, right? It was the Europeans that embraced the culture so much and held it with so much respect that they made these festivals, right? You know, so it was a mutual thing. So you guys added to the culture also, right?
I'll tell you who really blew it up in the UK, who made it really kind of popular at the time was Malcolm McLaren.
Right.
Because when he wrote the Buffalo Girls video, that was the first time we was kind of seeing like breaking, someone
like kind of mixed into the mainstream.
In one, and someone doing the graph.
Right.
So that's what really kind of kick-started it off in the UK was the Buffalo
and maybe
Girls
Blondie
video.
too, right?
Blondie, Rapture, and all that. Yeah. So was you going to like the writers' bench? I mean, would you go in?
Well, if everybody went to the writers' bench, you had to go to the writers' bench, right? I mean, that was so. I mean. Graffiti writing in the early days, the writer's bench. You can't leave out Henry Chalfant taking the pictures, which was also a big influence, right?
Massive subway art and style.
Well, that brought you guys a dictionary of archives, right?
Big time, yeah.
Right. And another thing also was that if you was a writer in the U.S., you would have to get your own style, right? And even if you had something dope, I couldn't really copy your shit, right? Because it was really biting. But in Europe, when Subway Art and Star Wars came out, you had a whole catalog of shit.
It blew us away.
Right. So you were able to pick this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other. And there was not that mentality, oh, this crew made that, and they used this. So we can't really use it. We got to do something else, right?
Because we was getting so many ideas out of Subway Art. We was like literally going through it page by page, getting like ideas, characters, and letter styles, 3Ds, and all that.
Shout out to Henry Chalfant for doing this thing and being a beautiful human being, because he's done helped a lot of writers. You know, not only the real writers know. Shout out to you, Henry Chalfant.
Big up to Henry and Martha as well.
And Martha Cooper.
Yeah. And when you come to the UK in '85, was you rating any of the London writers? I mean, did you check out the Chrome Angels?
I checked out the Chrome Angels. Shout out to Mo2s, Pride, everybody, right? Everybody. Yeah.
You must have loved there, because to us.
Actually, Mo2s he came to the airport to pick me up to meet me.
Yeah. But I mean, you must have been kind of loving what the Chrome Angels were doing, because they was kind of way ahead.
Well, Mo2s was ahead of his time.
Yeah, his characters were unreal.
He was ahead of his time. His technique with the painting and everything was ahead of his time, you know?
Yeah.
I tell you the truth, I was too immature to fully appreciate Mo2s. You know what I mean? But, you know, in retrospect, Mo2s was ahead of his time. Shout outs to you, all the Chrome Angels.
Yeah.
Shout out to you guys. You were innovators, you know, right?
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, amazing. Yeah. When we see their pieces around Covent Garden, the Westway.
They were ahead of their time.
Yeah.
Right? And that Bunklack paint, that shit was crazy.
The Bunklack, yeah. Did you use the Bunklack?
Oh, that was the best paint I couldn't believe it. Right? That was real paint, right?
The lilacs and the blues and the pink, yeah.
That shit was ahead of its time, right? So this is why I go back. You know, this thing was a whole circle.
Yeah. Where was you getting your paint from? London Graphics?
I forgot. I mean, I think there was a store in Covent Garden.
London Graphics.
That was it? Yeah, I can't remember all the names.
Yeah.
I think I was getting that from there, and yeah, probably from there, right? And then when we went around the country, maybe there was a couple of other stores that had it. That was the name, London Graphics by Covent Garden.
Yeah, it was London Graphics. Yeah, wicked shop first, especially for like buntlack and pens and all that.
Unbelievable, right?
Did you do you love looking at hand styles as well, Brim? Do you love like checking out people's tags?
Yeah, of course. The tag is a representation of you, right? Yeah. And your style and your crew and everything else, right? Some people are real taggers. Some people are real pieces, right? Everybody has their distinction and what they want to do. Some people have, you know, such a distinctive tag that it just is iconic. Yeah. You know, some people maybe, you know, they just want to go bombing and destroy shit. I don't put nothing down. You know, you do whatever you want to do.
Whatever floats your boat.
Whatever you need to do to feel good and do. But at the end of the day, you want to create positive energy. I just go back to that. But go ahead. 100%.
Because as you know, like you could say hip hop and music, it kind of saved our life. Because if it wasn't for that, it could be a totally different situation.
No, it not kind of saved our lives. It saved our lives, right? You think back to your youth. And you think back to the people that were not in hip-hop. You see where they at and what they doing, right? What were your choices? Keep getting high, keep drinking, right? Do some crime, because that's what that leads to. But with hip-hop in the equation, you was doing something, right? You ain't wanna F up because you wanted to make sure, you know, you was able to come out, right? See the girls dress well, give you self-esteem about yourself, right?
And also as well, with hip-hop, you wanted to look fresh.
Right.
You wanted to look as good as, I mean, look at you in Beat This Hip-Hop History. I mean, how good did you look, man?
I always stay fresh. I was fly. I was ahead of time.
You know, you were super fly.
Right. I was always super duper fly at that time, right?
But you look absolutely wicked. I mean, where was you getting your garments from? Was there like certain shops you'd go into?
No, I would just put shit together, right? You figure it out, right? You looking and you make, you know, this is what a b-boy should really look like, right? You know? And that's what you was throwing together, and that's what you was putting together.
Yeah, I mean, you look absolutely incredible. And featured in Bombing as well, didn't you? The 1987 documentary Bombing.
Right.
How did that come about, Brim?
I think when I first came to the UK, it garnered so much media attention in the front page of the Guardian, right? Good Morning Britain, that kind of a stuff. I did that job for the Death Wish movies with that director, right? Yeah. And
Michael Winner, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Last Poets, and you know, I could have went left with it, but I did the right thing with it, right? You know what I mean? So it came about from that, right? It came about from that hype. It came from that, and you know, I kept it going, and we made it happen.
Yeah. No, I was.
And I'm glad I'm glad that happened, right? You got Goldie from that, right?
Yeah.
Energetic, positive brother, right? Creating music and dance and everything else, right?
No, it was exciting times back then, wasn't it? And it's exciting times now. What do you think of hip hop now? I mean, are you digging it nowadays?
You know, it's a different day, right? It's a different time, different era, right? You know, the problem with today is that the algorithm and the social media is corrupting these kids' brains, right? So what I don't feel positive about is that you should always feel positive of how you look. You know, the way the creator made you is how you should feel positive about, right? Yeah. Not to, we just talk about dressing. We dress fly, but a brand didn't make who we are, right? Because these brands were not, that important. But now with the algorithm, they sell you this algorithm and package, it releases endorphins in your brain, right?
Totally.
So these kids, they buy this Gucci belt and they think they live in this Gucci life, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of that, I'm a fan always of the youth creating something new. but I'm sitting back and watching what's going on. But I see a warning sign with this algorithm and this false hope, you know, this falseness, where I want all the youth to feel proud of who they are, for who they are. You know, you stand in the you should stand in the mirror in the morning
and feel proud of yourself.
And be proud of yourself. You don't need the filter. You don't need these clothing companies reinforcing and telling you that without them you're somebody. These are algorithms. These are scientifically engineered algorithms that make you release endorphins in your brain if you like this Instagram post or that Instagram post, right? Or Facebook or TikTok or whatever, right? So I mean, we need to use social media, but we need to understand the power and the manipulation of the social media and these brands of how they use it. This is no longer, you know, this is no longer a underground industry. This is a multi-billion-dollar business. So when Nike releases a sneaker with hip-hop influence or drum and bass influence or rock and roll influence, they check the algorithm. They know what they're doing. There's nothing underground, you know. So you know, let's use the social media in a smart way.
You're bang on point. And you know what? I think sometimes we're kind of being brainwashed.
We are. We are being brainwashed, right? Listen, Amazon knows what you're going to buy before you know what you're going to buy. The way they feed you, the ads. You might be looking for this, but they're showing you this and that and this and that. And by the end of the day, you're picking what they already wanted you or the algorithm to pick. When you're searching for A and B and C, then you're looking through your phone, there's an ad for this, an ad for that, an ad for this. So it's nothing is underground. So for the youth, they need to be smart and understand that this is a multi-trillion-dollar business. And these algorithms are engineered to play with our brains and just use it smart. Of course, the bottom line is feel good about who you are. You don't need these filters.
And love yourself.
Love yourself.
Love yourself.
Of course, you got to love yourself.
Because, you know? Brim, the thing is, there's way too much hate. There's way too much hatred in our lives, and we need to give back. We need to send out a lot more positivity, a lot more love.
Well, I surround me with only love. Right, you know, I don't surround myself with any negative energy, and anybody that is creating negative energy, you know, I gotta push them away from me, right? Because I only am about positivity, right? You know, and positive vibes, right? And my team is always winning. That's why we always win.
But it would be nice to get that person who's really negative. I've had it in my cab where someone's really negative, but you know what? By the time he's got out of my cab, he's smiling,
right?
And he's a different person. He's
well, like, you know, life is up and down. You're not gonna be all the time, you know. You're not gonna be all the time on top of the world, right? I've had a very successful life. I've made a lot of money, but there's been a lot of valleys and peaks, and you got to be able to take the downs if you want to take the ups, right? And at the end of the day, if you created positivity, it's gonna come back to you. But you got to be strong on the way down, and you got to believe in yourself, right? And you just got to just work at it, right? You know, they say that, you know, it might be raining today and the sun's going to shine, right? So, you know, there's going to be valleys and peaks, right? You know, and this is just part of life. And it's not nothing that I'm an intelligent person, right? I'm talking to you from experience, right? If some young kids are watching this, right? You know, I mean, it's never the end of the world if things happen, right? You're not going to always be successful. You're going to fail, right? But you only fail when you give up, right? And even if you fail in something or you didn't do good in something, you learn from that experience and you learn from that and you do better next time. It's not the end of the world. You only fail when you give up. So you can't never give up, right? You got to believe in yourself, feel good about yourself.
Believe in yourself and be respectful. Treat everybody as you think you'd be treated. I mean, you know, and never.
Right, you create positive energy, so I'm messing with you, right?
Yeah. And never ever judge a book by its cover.
That's so true. That's so true.
Never judge a book by its cover. That's
crazy. I mean, people think, you know, they can look at you and analyze you, and they don't know, you know, you might be a billionaire, you might be a genius, you might be a scientist, you know, it could be anything. So yeah. Let me say something else. Maybe this is off the record or whatever. You know, I was diagnosed with cancer. I almost died.
I heard about that, Brim, yeah.
Right, you know. So thank God that the doctor loved hip hop, and he went out and went all out for me. Right, you know, the whole team of cancer doctors came up with something for me and actually saved my life.
But no, would you want to keep that on camera?
Yeah, I mean, no problem. Yeah, you know why I say that? Because you should never give up hope. I didn't know I was going to be able to make this trip, you know? And they gave me 6 months to live, and I already had used 4 months. But I still had that hope, right? But I was prepared for death. And, you know, at that time that I was prepared for death, number one, nobody's going to walk with you through that journey. You're walking through yourself through that journey. And one of the things that I thought about walking through that journey, because I was prepared for death. I had over 40 blood transfusions. Nothing was going to save me. That was it. It was like, prepare for your death. And I just thought back to my life, and I said, how much good did I create and how much bad did I create, right? And my analyzation was I created a lot more good, positive energy than negative energy, right? And a lot of that negative things that I did was because of a lack of experience and being younger, right? So this is why I go back to that, you know, don't ever give up. And if you fail, you know, you have a chance, you know, to do something better, you know?
And believe in yourself. Brim, listen, I'm absolutely blown away by this little chat.
Okay.
I'm absolutely blown away.
I hope the meter ain't running. I hope I ain't paying for this whole tag. You know, I mean, come on. We got, you know, you got to show me some love. I know you got the blinged out super, you know. I mean, I wish you people could see the sky roof on this shit. This is like the size of an Olympic pool, right? I mean, you could break dance in the middle of this shit.
It's a beautiful cab. I'm gonna get a picture of you with the cab out.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It'd be amazing. And Brim, what are you up to while you're in London?
I came to do something in Birmingham, right?
With Goldie and that.
Yeah, well, to meet up with Goldie and you know, to meet and greet for the anniversary of that bombing documentary.
Yeah.
And just, you know, I just wanted to come through, right? Like I said, I was diagnosed with cancer. I didn't know I was gonna make it. They didn't want me to come, but I had to come, right? The trip was postponed because of the pandemic, right? And then the diagnosis of cancer, I had to come. I didn't care what we were doing. And I wanted to see Goldie, right? And, you know, see a couple of other people, right? You know, made me think. I just wanted to come and, you know, as they say, dot the I's and cross the T's and, you know, get some hugs and some, you know, spread some love.
Yeah, now, Brim, listen, it's an absolute honour. And it's an absolute honour that you're in the back of my...
Hey, yo, shout out to the whole UK, the whole Europe, Asia, everywhere. You know, hip-hop rules the whole world. We know that. From the movies to the music industry to the fashion, multi-trillion-dollar business. From the South Bronx, big BRIM TATs Cru in the house.
Listen, Brim, I'm absolutely blown away, and it's a real honour.
Hold on, I gotta ask you a question again.
Of course.
Am I paying for this cab drive and this meter? Cause this cab is I see the meter. You got like 200 and something pounds. Am I paying for this or what's going on?
Listen, man, you would never pay in my cab.
All right.
Never.
All right.
Look, by the way,
you know,
Brim's winding you up. Anyone watching? He's on the wind up. Now, Brim, listen, it's a real honour. Let me come round and see you quickly.
All right. And nobody's driving the cab.
I don't usually jump in the back. But yeah, that's a real honour, my man. A real honour.
All right. And if you're lucky enough to get this cab driver, it's the dopest thing in the world, right? You know, you're gonna have a laugh and like what he said. You might be angry, not feeling good. You're gonna feel good when you see this guy.
No, wicked. No, respect.
All right.
Respect.
All right.
Really means a lot.
All right. Subscribe, like, and share. There we go.
Doing the do.